And we are back. Okay, guys, sorry for the absence, but I took my leave. I had too many things to do, and my camera also died, so you can see me. But the game is still here, it's still working smoothly. Actually, it's working better than ever. And oh, actually, we can see the new arena season just started, and my connection is having problems. Nice. Okay, so what I want to do today, it's an experiment. Um, as you can see, I've got a windblow attack ring here, but it's a guardian ring, and another different ring, it's a thin ring, so it should be different. And windblow attack is the same spell, but actually two different rings. So what I want to answer is, will they trigger together without sharing a global cooldown? So if this spell triggers, um, can this spell trigger before the end of the cooldown of this other spell? So because the cooldown is 14, if this one triggers before the 14th hit after this one, then they don't share the cooldown. If they do share the cooldown, basically it's almost useless to have two spell rings, but if I don't, it actually makes some sense in basically are stages where there are many enemies. So let's try it out, and to check it we can just use the move counters. So let's take a moment to actually see how spell works. The spell triggers, and then the cooldown to reset it, it's counted every time your character takes an action. It can be another kind of spell like a speed spell or a defense spell, or just a normal attack, or even a miss. That counts for one action. When you have done 14 actions, you can do the spell again. Okay, so let's find out. We have the action counter here, so we need to wait for the spell here. Number 2, so if it's before 16, they don't share the cooldown. Let's find out. Oh, I'm getting there already. 16 actually, so it wasn't. Now it's 16 plus 14, 30. So if it does it before 30, then they don't share the same cooldown. Let's see. It doesn't seem to do it, but of course the spell has 10% activation, so it would be kind of normal for a few attempts to not trigger in 14 times, in 14 attempts, but eventually it should happen. As you saw, like the first time it triggered on the second possible attack, move number 2. And then, as soon as the actual cooldown was over, it did it on the first attack. So we had a 10% activation. We triggered on a second hit and then on a first hit. Statistically, it could actually it would be reasonable to see it activate between the first and the 10th attempt, because it's 10% probability. Of course, you can do like 20 attacks and never see one activation because it's random, but eventually if we attempt a few levels, we should see statistical evidence that it happens or doesn't happen. Second, as you can see, now it's the second attack, so we have to see if it does it before the 16th. Not doing it. Oh, I leveled up. Nice. I'm getting behind, actually. It didn't. As you can see, it's 18 already. Now it's 21, so we need to wait for 35. Actually, we would like to see it before 35, otherwise it's the same cooldown, of course. So you get the gist of it. Oh, actually, I have 11,000 AKP. Maybe I can pass this stage. Oh man, I lost the count now. But no, I didn't do it. Oh man, this is so hard. So 42 and I'm dead. No, couldn't do it. Oh no, wait, because basically by doing this with this experiment, I'm not using a good gear. 6, 14, 20 now. I'm using a really weak ring and my defense sucks, so I'm not expecting to be able to pass this stage ever. It's just for to find out. So it didn't, but it was like 20 things, so we have 34. Maybe I missed one. Let's see. Not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Nope. Let's see what happens now. I think I'm about to die. Yes. So there will not be enough time in this run. Okay, let's see this new run. As you see, it doesn't always trigger in the first attempts. Now it's on the 6th, which is statistically reasonable. So if it happens before 20 now, it doesn't share the cooldown. I'm kind of doubtful at this point. I think we saw enough evidence already that yeah, see 24, 25, so now it's on 39. Nope. Okay, let's go again. What I'm doing, as you can clearly tell, I'm cutting out the dead times because I want to do many runs, so we have no doubt about this. Of course, I could have spent a few hours, I don't know how many, 18, so it's 32, by running through the code. Again, I haven't looked at the code for a long time, and I'm sure it changed quite a bit in the past few months. Nope, it's the 30 seconds, so the cooldown was over. So now we have to wait for 46, which I don't think we will see because I'm gonna die before, maybe not, yeah, 40. And basically I was saying that I could run through the code and find it out there, but I think it will be way quicker doing this test, 7. So now we need a 23. By doing this test here, then to look where it is in the code, because I mean, if you do a few runs, as you can see, it always triggers between like 1 to 10 attacks. The statistical likelihood, now it didn't 28, so it was on the 2nd after the cooldown, and now we need 42, which I don't think we'll see, but let's see. The statistical likelihood that I do all these attempts and it never happens, when we see that usually it's between 1 to 6, 8 attempts, it's impossible. Basically it means that they do for sure share the cooldown. 36, as I said, and it was on the 37th, so the 2nd again after the cooldown. As you can see, it usually happens in the first 5 attempts when it doesn't have a cooldown, so it never happening means that the code is not wrote that way, and they do share the cooldown, which is a pity, because it means that if you want speed, which you only get 14, so 28, so if you want speed you need this ring, either Guardian or Fin, but you can't have the double spell that way, and if you do want the double spell, then you have to 28, as you see. You have to sacrifice basically the speed you could have gotten, which is actually not great. For me, it doesn't make much sense that two completely different rings, 15 now, like they actually are on another tier. I mean, it's a Thin and a Guardian, so the first and the second tier actually do share the cooldown. I mean, Why should that be? As you see, 16, so it's a fail again, and now we are sure that they do share it. So what I'm saying is, I think this is a design mistake. I mean, they are completely different tier of rings, but you can't have both spells. I don't see why. And some people said that they actually would trigger if you had the same ring, even just exactly the same ring, but you have two different spells. And for the wind rings, the two available spells are basically, I'll show you in a sec, after this is done, so we can look at the equipment. Oh, a cube. So, oh, look at the food. So the spell would be Windblow Attack, and the variant for the premium, I don't remember the name, but it's actually a different spell. The basic spell has stronger, the basic ring has a stronger spell than the premium ring. One is Windblow Attack and the other one is called differently, and the animation is completely different. I read in the Discord that they say those two spells are not the same spells, so they should both trigger, but I experimented with that already in the past and it wasn't true. Maybe they fixed that, and actually maybe I can check. I need to find out if I have the ability to check it, and I'll be back with another video on that topic. But for sure, different rings with the same spell do share a cooldown, which in my opinion is crazy, because it's limiting you to renouncing the speed on one of the two. So you're limiting the build based on an area spell. I don't get it. The intensity of the spells, it's different, as you can see. One is almost double the other. So let's see if this is meant to be, or maybe it's a bug they didn't notice. I don't know. Maybe we could ask the devs in the next live answering session they do once a week on the Discord. But for the moment, stay safe, and thanks for watching.